All right, let's dive into one of the most viral, most powerful, and honestly, most controversial AI projects of the year, OpenClaw. It's being called a personal AI operating system, which sounds incredible, right? But the real question is, should you actually be using it? We're going to find out. To really get a sense of the hype, you just have to look at this number. That's over 322,000 stars on GitHub. That makes OpenClaw one of the fastest growing open source projects in history. It's pretty clear developers immediately saw its potential, this idea of a truly accessible platform for a personal AI that can do real work in the real world. So what is it that has everyone so excited? Well, to get it, you really have to shift your thinking away from chatbots like ChatGPT and towards this idea of a true AI operating system. Okay, so at its core, OpenClaw is software you install on your own machine. Now that self-hosted part, that's absolutely critical because it means you control your data. It basically acts as a gateway, giving an AI model, the brain, the ability to connect with your digital world and, this is the most important part, to actually take action. I love this analogy because it just perfectly captures the whole concept. Think about it. If a large language model is the AI's brain, then OpenClaw is, well, it's everything else. It's the nervous system that connects that brain to the world. It's what allows the AI to do things, not just say things. And this, right here, is the fundamental difference. A chatbot is passive. It just kind of sits there in a window waiting for you. But an OpenClaw agent, it's proactive. It can run code on your computer, it can control your browser, organize your files, and run tasks on a schedule, even when you're asleep. And it can be triggered from apps you're already using, like Slack or WhatsApp. So if it can do all of that, what are people actually building with it? This is where it gets really fascinating. The use cases go way, way beyond just simple chatting. Honestly, the applications are incredibly broad. For developers, it's things like monitoring server logs or helping review code. For personal productivity, you're looking at automatically triaging your email, controlling your smart home devices, or organizing research notes. We've even seen people use it to build support bots for communities and totally automate web scraping. Now, all of those things are powerful, for sure, but they're really just the beginning. The most advanced application we've seen is something called Auto Research Claw, and it almost sounds like science fiction. So get this. This system can take a single research topic and then run an entire autonomous workflow. It literally searches existing literature, it forms a hypothesis, it designs and runs experiments, analyzes the data, and then drafts a final paper with citations. This isn't just automation, it's a potential paradigm shift, a tool that could, one day, completely democratize scientific research itself. Okay, so that all sounds amazing, but an agent with this much power, this much access to your digital life, well, it comes with enormous risks. And this is the part of the story where things take a very, very sharp turn. And look, this isn't some random critic. This is a direct quote from OpenClaw's own creator, Peter Steinberger. He's not being dramatic here. He's giving you a straight-up, accurate technical assessment. When the guy who built the tool tells you it's dangerous, you really need to listen. Here's the core risk, boiled down. OpenClaw completely removes the barrier between what an AI says and what it does. What that means is a vulnerability like prompt injection, where an attacker hides a malicious command inside a normal-looking request, isn't just a content problem. No, it's a security nightmare that could let an attacker run code directly on your machine. And this isn't just a theory. A Cisco security audit actually found that over a quarter of community-created skills contained at least one vulnerability. Think about that for a second. Using an unvetted skill isn't just risky, it's like running a random script you found online, except this one is plugged directly into an AI brain that has access to your entire system. So yeah, the risks are serious, but they're not unmanageable, if you know what you're doing. The community has actually developed a really clear set of best practices, what they call a risk mitigation ladder. It involves things like keeping the software updated, running it in an isolated environment, carefully vetting any skills you install, and constantly auditing its activity. So it demands a real investment in security knowledge. But what about the financial cost? I mean, the software is free and open source, but is it actually free to run? Not exactly. While the software itself is free, you still have to pay for the AI model's usage. And for a serious user, this can add up fast. Connecting through a business account login can be pretty cost-effective, maybe around $30 a month. But if you're using a direct API key for high-volume tasks, whoa, that cost can easily jump to over $500 a month. Mastering OpenClaw also takes a pretty significant time investment. The recommended path is to start with the very detailed tutorial from Free Code Camp and then really dive into the official docs. The key, though, is to shift your thinking from just writing prompts to designing entire automated workflows. And please, always run it in a safe, isolated environment right from day one. Okay, so we've covered the incredible power, the very significant risks, and the real costs in both time and money. So let's bring it all together for the final verdict. After all of this, we land on the central question. Should you be downloading this thing and setting it up tonight? Well, the answer really depends entirely on who you are. For developers, for technical power users, or hobbyists who truly respect the security risks, OpenClaw can be an absolute game changer. But for casual users, for anyone who's not comfortable with the command line, or really anyone who's not prepared to actively manage its security, the advice is simple. Be extremely cautious. Ultimately, OpenClaw is more than just a tool. It's a real glimpse into the future of personal AI, agents that don't just talk, but act. The critical question it forces all of us to confront, and the one I'm going to leave you with, is this. How do we, as users and developers, build a future where we can fully embrace this incredible power while responsibly taming its very real peril?